I promised myself to keep this video short, 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, and it's turned into another epic. I've had loads of problems with it. I've learnt a ton of stuff, and hopefully I'll pass that on to you guys. All I wanted to do was make that logo there into a sticker, and it was going to be a nice, quick, easy one. But I believe the problem that's held me up the most is when you create an object in Inkscape and add a stroke to it, the stroke sits behind the object. But when you create text in Inkscape and add a stroke to it, the stroke sits in front. And it's just caused me quite a few problems. There's probably a setting somewhere that I don't know about yet that's going to make my life a load easier in the future. Yeah, see how you look. We'll see what you think to the video. If you've got any ideas for new videos, let me know. And my watch time has gone up, so thank you for the new subscribers who've joined. I'm hoping it's because you're watching the videos and not pressing play and then just falling asleep at the keyboard. Yeah, loads more stuff to come. Leave a comment, give me a like, it helped me out, and hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of the video I made a little while ago about designing this logo. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it, or a card or something around here, so you can jump back and have a look. If you did watch it, I said I was going to make a vinyl sticker from the design. Here you can see the design's finished, and on screen it looks okay. It looks done. If I've opened the same file in my vinyl cutting software. If I just flip over to that now, you'll see there's a few problems with it, which is it's been a big thing for me on Inkscape and vinyl cutting stickers. So this is just all to do with the stroke values and how Inkscape sort of cuts things up. So the first problem we've got, if I just click on that, if I just move that out of the way, the disc, that's about the only bit of this sticker that's actually works. It doesn't need any work, everything else needs something. So we've got the beige edge, that needs completely filling in. Let me just put the red disc back. We've got the problem here where this guy actually looks okay, but the background for it is solid on there, but it's not solid. You can sort of see the red through there. It's only picked up the stroke and not the fill, which is a bit strange. Let me just put that back. And the biggest problem we have got is that if I just ungroup all this and then pick up one letter and then ungroup that and click off and click on again, if I send all of those black outlines to the cutter, you're going to end up with loads of little fiddly little bits that are going to need weeding out. So what we need to do is create a solid P where all that's black and a solid P in that colour, and then stack them on top of each other, which usually isn't a problem, but for some reason it's like a double stroke. If I just, the black is on top, the beige is on the bottom. If I swap it round how it would be in vinyl, that's what it's going to look like. So worst case, I may have to redo that completely from the start, but everything else should be a fairly easy one to fix. Starting with the disc, let's just move him out of the way again. So I'll just pick up that beige section and then go over to the edit paths by nodes. We need to delete that one there, that one there, and that one there. If we don't delete these, the vinyl cutter would still cut the disc out, the ring rather, but it would leave where the red and this colour sit on top of each other. You'd have like a step. It's better to have a flat surface to stick two surfaces together where you can. Let's just put that back in. Actually, if I just hold down Shift and click on the beige one, and then go, I need to align and distribute, which I've closed, and just center those two up again. So that's the first problem solved. So I'm going to just go File, Save, and then go File. Oh, actually, if I just run through, I'll just show you. This is showing you all the colours together. If I just click on the beige on its own, you'll see you've got the letters there and the ring. So when I open it again, that should now be, the beige letters are going to vanish because it's going to be a solid, but that's okay. Okay, so it's inverted them. Right, still not a problem. That's progress. So the next one is this guy. Let's just click on that. It's fill and strokes. There's a problem with the fill and stroke on this. If I just go back to the black, so we don't worry about the letters. We're going to sort that out. So it's this one we're worried about at the minute. We want all that to be black, because trying to line up that tiny little edge and trying to cut that little edge is going to be really tricky. So we need to turn the fill off. So fill and stroke, go into fill and just turn the fill off, and go to stroke paint. Let's just make sure that's all looking good. We need to make that solid. So we go over to Edit Paths by Nodes, click on that, and then stroke to path. So we need to make it, I'll just zoom in and show you before and after. At the minute you've got basically that red line. If you send that to your cutter, that is what it will cut, not the black edges, and we need to put that edge on the outside, not in the center. And you do that by clicking on stroke to path. There we go. Now, because it's on a red background, you can't see the I'll just move that out of the way a little way and click back on it. Go back to Edit Paths by Nodes. There you go. So you've got red on the outside. Now the problem is, the fun bit now, I've got to go through and delete all these, which is going to take a little time. So bear with me and I'll be back. Okay, what was going to be a nice, quick, easy, short video is turning into something a bit more technical. I fixed the problem with the solid black behind the logo and the stroke line on the red disc, but I have hit a snag with the text. So what I've had to do is I've just duplicated that out of the original art so we don't disturb the original art. Then I've duplicated it again just in case I make a mistake and I can't go back over it and I need to just fall back on something. What's happening is, let me just duplicate this again. Let's move him out of the way so we can concentrate on one thing. If I just click on that, we've got the beige section extends beyond or behind the black section. So that red line is the edge of the beige. We don't want it that wide because when we cut it with vinyl, we're going to be stuck with something that's too big. So I've got to separate all this out, and we're going to make a custom stamp from the black outline. So let's just go and go path and break apart, and then that should make everything in there two separate objects. Then we're going to go path, stroke to path, and that makes that its own thing. And then we're going to ungroup it. Oh, I'm on the wrong. It's better. Ungroup. There we go. So we've got two entities, if you like. I'm going to click off, and then I'm going to grab the beige L. So that's, you can see that's too. It's just too wide for what we want. So I need to make this stroke cut the bit off around the edge we don't want. So I'm just going to put that back lined up like that. Let's just click off that. Let's click on, hold down Shift and select the surround. I'm just going to go path difference, and that is the L. That's now narrowed it, but we've now lost the black outline, which is why I've duplicated it, because we have the original one intact. So if I now go path, break apart, and then ungroup, ungroup that, path, path, stroke to path, and ungroup. That's better. It's the same process as what I've just done. I've just immediately forgotten to do it, and I should be able to move that guy out of there. You see the thickness difference? But we want this to be solid, because the cutter, I don't want it cutting out all this, because it's so thin it's probably gonna chew it up. So what we're gonna do is just select on the stroke again, delete those internal nodes, and then we're going to grab the new sized L, delete the old one, and there we go. It's just a case of rinse and repeat for the whole section, and then swap that one with that one, and we should be good to cut. Okay, so we're making some real progress now. I've saved the finished artwork with the updated graphics, and I've started a new document, and I've separated everything out into its individual colours, which means that when we go over to SignCut Pro 2 and open that, we've got all these individual pieces, and I've got these little tabs over on the right hand side. If I just click on the beige, it'll just give me the beige. Earlier, when I updated the folder, the file, sorry, the words were in a negative cut out, and it was just because the system was trying to display that there was something there. So by moving that beige on beige into two separate areas, that's fixed that problem. Yeah, and it's just a case of loading up the vinyl cutter with each individual colour. There's the red spot that sits at the back, and there's the black. This is what gave us most of the problems. And there's the main logo at the front. I'm looking now, I'm thinking I'm expecting a few problems here, because that's a very fine cut. I've set it to cut at 5 inches wide, so I maybe could have made some better design decisions on that one, but we'll put it through and see what happens and go from there. Okay, so all the parts are cut out. I thought I won't show you the cut again, because you've seen that before in the other video. Now, I didn't have beige. I don't think I've ever had beige, because when I designed the logo, I wasn't really thinking about making a sticker, but there you go. But the white will suffice, and the nearest, it's going to be difficult to tell on the camera, but that's not the best colour match, but it's the nearest one I've got. First impressions, I'm quite impressed how the cutters picked up on all those details for something so small. So I'm going to stick a new blade on my scalpel, because I tend to snap them fairly regularly. You know, when I do rhinoplasties between graphics and things. Joking, I am joking. Let's get rid of that. Let's get into this. So yeah, I'll get these weeded out. I'll probably go to time lapse, save you watching the whole thing, and I will see you shortly. Right, so the weeding process went pretty well. Very impressed with this. A bit difficult to get a sense of scale. I'll just get my rule in its packet, but check out how fine that cut is. I mean, that's like barely half a mil. It is so tiny. And this is a cheap cutter from eBay for about £150, so can't grumble at that. Did struggle around here. It was a bit thin. You've got to be careful when you're pulling the weeding out. If something does get stuck, don't pull it, because the vinyl stretches ever so easy, and once it's stretched, you basically need to bin it because it won't go back. So next thing is that needs to go on top of there. That needs to go on top of there. That needs to go on top of there. And then those two go on top of there, and those two, and you know. So right, let's get into it. The first thing we're going to do is cut the disc off. Base layer disc. So that sits on the bottom, and that's going to sit there. So need to cover the red. Just move these out of the way. Need to cover the red disc in transfer tape. And just pick that off the backing. Just overlap that slightly on my alignment sheet. Well, it's got a bit of a curve in it. Let's just bend this. Because the vinyl sits on a roll, so it spends its life fairly tightly wound, much like myself. What do you think? Is that in the centre? Go with that. Yeah, it's okay. Let's put it over to one side. So next we need the letters stacking up. I've just remembered when I weeded this, the L shifted over. I need to pop him back into the correct position. He got stuck to the vinyl. That's a bit better. And the lettering's a bit trickier. Let's just take our time with this one. Yeah, it's a shame it wasn't in beige, but never mind. And let's do this little guy. Yeah, I'm really pleased how that came out. I didn't think at this size it would be able to maintain all that detail. And this is something you've got to watch if you're doing it for other people. If you've got customers, they don't always appreciate the limitations of the machine or how long it takes you to weed. I mean, making one of these, probably do it in 10 minutes. If I wasn't on the camera, I'll probably do it a bit quicker, but you know, 10 minutes is fine. But if you got 50 or 100, then it starts adding up and it starts taking time. I'm just struggling. The camera's kind of impeding my judgment here a little bit, which is the excuse I'm going to use for not doing a great job. I'm going to go down there. And again, just take our time. Yeah, it's starting to look like something like now. Just trim this down quick. That's all the bits assembled. So we're going to take the transfer tape off this. Leave the sticker on the backing, which is not what you're supposed to do on a normal sticker. Now I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put this to one side because we can put this back over when we've finished. Just trace those out. Okay, so what we're going to do is stick our letters on. I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter because we can just rotate when we're finished. I think we ought to put this on first. And just off camera, I've got the artwork open so I can see roughly what it should look like, the positioning. Try and get it as close as we can. I think that's as good as we're going to get. Try not to get any air bubbles in, but these things happen. Right, again, I'm going to get this transfer tape off without damaging the sticker. I've used this red is a matte finish and everything else is gloss, so you get nice sort of contrasting textures and finishes. And that's that. I'll probably reuse the transfer. Oh no, don't need to, do we? Still got it on this. I always try and reuse as much as I can because all the consumables are expensive and they always run out just when you need them most. Some of these have been a bit stubborn and trying to stay behind. I'm going to watch this lettering because some of it, oh, well, that was easy, wasn't it? That was very lucky actually. I could have gone very wrong. The last hurdle, well, second from last, I've still got to get this off. Once I get the backing tape off, the transfer tape, sorry, it will I can stick it all back down properly. Just got to be really careful I don't lift anything. Yeah, it's like times like this where you think I should have just started a funny cat video channel instead. We seem to go the hard long way around. What's that looking like? Not bad, if I do say so myself.